Yeah. Philly streets got a story to tell. Golden sun breaks the Liberty Bell. From the Trattoria to the stoop outside, feel good vibes in the city's pride.
Fuji's Philly flair, oh, it's everywhere. Good news flying like hands in the air. Hip hop grooves with a twist, so rare. Fuji's Philly flair, we're living the care.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome tonight to another episode of Fuji's Philly Flair on this Wednesday night. Hope everybody's staying warm. A very long winter, it seems, but tonight I'd like to introduce two gentlemen. First, David Bara, the community outdoor rink builder and also proud owner of the Penalty Box Bar of the Philadelphia Flyers team, and also the gentleman from 1 year ago today wrote the article about Dave's bar and outdoor rink, Earl Holmes, writer from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Welcome tonight, gentlemen. How are you?
Thank you. Hey, Fuji, real quick, don't ever use the word warm and like rink in the same sentence because I'll probably have some type of panic attack, okay?
Did I use that? Did I use that in the?
You said I hope you're staying warm. So,
all right. Well, I didn't say it would rank.
it's great to be here, and Earl, great to see you, buddy.
Yes, man. Thank you, Mike, for having us on, bro. For this kind of conversation, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, it's like we were talking before we got on air. Like I knew Dave almost 40 years going back to our high school days, our teenage years. And, it's kind of like we all intertwined. And like I was telling Dave how you and I were talking, Earl, and how you said you were a writer for the Inquirer and how I ended up buying a Saquon Barkley jersey off you back in the summer. And, Earl mentioned how he knew Dave and how you guys, hooked up as far as the article that you wrote about Dave's barn. Dave's barn and the rink. I'm ready to say bar and grill. Oh, my bad. Forgive me, folks. I'm a little under the weather and I'm a little medicated right now. But, yeah, I'd like to welcome you guys. And I want to, start off with you, Dave. I mean, what gave you the idea to build the community outdoor rink along with the Penalty Box Bar?
Absolutely. So this is my 11th year. It all started actually from one of those blow-up Intex pools with the ring around the top that you inflate every year. So every year I would get one of those for my kids, and then I would just kind of cut it up and throw it away instead of having to like deal with storing it and drying it out. And then the 1 year I was kind of just going around and cutting it up. And all I was left with was just kind of the bottom of the pool. Mm-hmm. I don't even know like where I got the idea from, but I looked at that and I was like, I could probably fill that with water and freeze it. And my little guy, who was, like 5 years old at the time or 6 years old, I'm like, he could skate on that. So I literally I had no idea what was going to happen. I rolled it up. I threw it against the fence. I watched the weather. I rolled it back out when I saw it was going to be below freezing. I filled it 2 or 3 days later. I told my son, I'm like, hey, put your skates on. Like, let's see what this frozen water is about out there. And once I saw him like skating outside and just, really getting the most out of the way hockey is supposed to be played, just like with no coaches, no freedom, some music outside. Right. I knew that I had to kind of just take it from there and try and make it something nicer each year that, not only my kids could enjoy, but, kids that live in the neighborhood, strangers. I tell everybody about the rink and they usually think I'm crazy or I'm just, blind. When I invite people to the rink to come skate, like I genuinely mean it from my heart. It's not just like, an open-ended, like, oh yeah, sure, you can come skate. Like, no, I mean it. Like, if I tell you can come skate, that's what makes me feel the way I do about the outdoor rink, is seeing kids that would never get a chance to skate outside, getting to do that, and the smile from ear to ear, them just looking up in the sky like, hey, there's no roof out here, like on this rink. Like, this is absolutely awesome. And then my favorite thing really is when they look to their parents and kind of give them that look like, you're building me a rink next week. And I'll tell you that story later on, because I just had it happen like 2 weeks ago, and it's a great story.
Well, matter of fact, I wanted to pull up one of the interviews you had from CBS 3, I guess going back a year.
A homeowner there has something very special in his own backyard.
That's right, Kate, and I'm going to show you that. We're live here in the elements. We brought the mobile weather watcher. That is right behind me. And while, a lot of people are complaining about the cold, they're kind of over it. I'm here at one particular house with one particular family where they say they are absolutely loving the cold. This is David Bara. This is your homemade backyard ice rink. Why is this cold weather so important for your rink?
Well, we've had a couple years where the weather wasn't cooperating, and this year has just been amazing with the cold. So we're really excited to have the cold. Sorry people don't like the cold, but we love it right now, as you can see. So
you said you go to work every day, and you're like, yes, it's going to be really cold today. This is perfect. And your coworkers are like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, they're not too happy over there at work. They probably tired of me hearing, how great the cold is and looking at the weather apps, and so.
So we got basically a whole hockey team out here. Some of these are your children. They're loving ice. How often do they get out here on the ice?
My son's usually out here before school, after school. He sets his alarm to get up in the morning, go out and skate. So makes me happy. Makes all the work that I do worth it to have all the kids out there skating. So.
And they're certainly having a lot of fun out here. Even though it's cold, they're staying moving around, so that's helping to keep them warm. So this is a great opportunity to talk about ice safety. So here's some things just to keep in mind, because a lot of our streams and rivers and also lakes and creeks, things like that, they're all freezing over. You need to know ice is never 100% safe. You need to measure it before venturing out, and it's best that you have a local official that is measuring it. So you really shouldn't go out unless a local official does measure the ice. At least 4 inches thick to support you for ice skating or walking. When in doubt, just stay off the ice. But this ice is safe. You said it's 4 inches thick, and in some spots even thicker, right?
Almost a foot, yeah.
All right, awesome. So we're having fun. We're staying warm. I might get on the ice in just a little bit, but sending it back inside to you, Yuki.
And
that was, I think that might have been like one of the first interviews I've done, and I was kind of like, what do they want to come see my rink for? I'm always amazed.
Right.
I'm always really blown away when people like, want to come see it, and I never say no, because like I said, it's all about growing the outdoor hockey community and getting as many kids, adults, to be able to experience something that you would. I was telling Fuji before we came on, like, if you lived in Toronto or Montreal, like, everybody has a backyard rink. Like the way we have, trampolines, they have backyard rinks. So, being able to spread that with kids and families that, would never get a chance to do that is really what it's about,
Earl, I was going to ask you, what drew you to write about Dave's story?
I think his enthusiasm about it, right? Like, we talked to only a handful of other people, maybe less than 3 other people, David, that actually had ice or outdoor at-home rinks themselves, right? But it was Dave's like ability to galvanize a community around his rink and place like outdoor hockey at the center of it, right? Like, it was more than just him having his own rink. It was about giving that experience or introducing that or opening that experience to other people in his neighborhood, even me, who's never really gone ice skating probably more than 3 times, 4 times maybe. Like, he was like, yo, come on down. You know what I mean? So like, that's the reason why we were drawn to do it, honestly. Yeah.
I told Earl, I said, just tell me your shoe size and I'll make sure I got you skates.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it looks like, you've done a phenomenal job. And I mean, especially I know this weather, like you said, is cooperating with you. And where I'm not going to say the word warm. But I mean, what would you say are the most rewarding moment you've seen on your rink?
Uh,
thus far?
Before I get to the most rewarding, I just want to say, I couldn't do this rink
Mhm.
without some of my friends because as I maintain the ice and build the ice and all that other crazy ideas, like I have guys that are just so handy, and like my friend Tom, he could literally build the rink with his eyes closed now after 11 years. And my other buddy Kurt, every year it's like I can count on those guys. Like no matter what I come up with, what I want to do for the kids, like they never tell me no, you know. And sometimes like, you know, it's like 20 degrees out, 50-mile-an-hour winds, and those guys are here every single year helping me make, you know, this come to life for the kids and everybody else every year. So I just want to take a second and thank them real fast before I forget. As far as like, what was your question, Fuji? What is my most
Would have been, yeah,
like memorable moment or most
just
satisfying?
just a rewarding moment since you built the rink.
I would have to say, going back to what I was telling you guys about, like when people have come here
Mm-hmm.
and then either like started playing hockey or maybe started taking hockey, you know, to another level of play, or when people come here and like I was telling you earlier, my son's high school coach from last year, like he has two little boys. I forget, maybe like 3 and 4 years old, maybe one's a little bit younger, but I've been begging him, like, you got to bring the boys over to skate. You got to bring the boys over to skate. And they live probably like an hour and a half away from here. So about 2 or 3 weeks ago, they finally made it over. And when he got here, the first thing I told him was, I said, John, I said, I am so excited, not that you came, but that I know that next week you're going to be texting me, telling me, okay, like, where do I order the liner? How do I build the frame? I said, that's the joy, because now your kids are going to torture you to build a rink, and that's what's going to make me crack up, because I know I'm going to. And literally, I got a text the following week. I just ordered the liner, you know, like, and we were texting back and forth. He sent me pictures the other day. He was actually coaching a high school game, and his parents sent him a video of the boys on the ice. And I said, that's what it's about. You know what I mean? Getting a guy to come here with his kids, and then a week later, like, he's building a rink for his kids, and now they're going to have those memories that I cherish from the last 11 years with, you know, my family, my friends, with strangers that come over. Like, it's just absolutely amazing to be able to share that with everybody.
Dave, as far as you running the penalty box bar to connect your passion for community skating, like, how does that, I mean, how do you do both? I mean,
You mean with having the bar and then the rink?
yeah.
I mean, the bar is just basically a place for the adults to stay warm instead of sitting outside freezing while their kids are skating, because kids don't get cold. You know what I mean? They're out flying around. That, you know, they're out there with like t-shirts on, and you know, it's like 15 degrees, but they just don't get cold. So I'll tell you a quick story about the bar itself. So another one of my really good friends, Brian, we'd always be hanging outside, and his kids would come over for the rink and stuff. And he's like, you really need to build a bar like in that humongous shed that you have. And I said, well, you know, listen, bro, I said, you know, I'm not handy. I said, I can't build a bar. He's like, I'll build you a bar. So the next day I drove to his house. We went to Lowe's before he had any time to change his mind. I'm like, I'll pick you up tomorrow. We're going to go to Lowe's and get the wood. And so that's how the penalty box came to life, was because Brian told me I needed a bar, and I was not letting him getting out of the deal of building me the bar. So he built the bar, and then obviously I took it from there with decorating. And so many really cool people have given me different things throughout the years, from pucks to sticks to my wife made me a full-size gritty that you might have a picture of. I mean, different hockey rinks have given me boards, glass that's in the window. It's actually from a hockey rink. So again, and I feel like it's a big circle. Like, if you give people, you know, things, you know, and you're a great person, you try and be a good kind person, it's going to come back, you know. So that's kind of the way I live every day. Like, you know, you do good things for people, and stuff like that happens. People will give back to you, the penalty boxes, and the hockey rink with all the sponsors, like I wouldn't be able to buy those boards, but different local businesses and friends who own businesses were like, hey, I'll fork up the money to buy the board and the advertisement and stuff. And, I don't make any money off of the advertising. That's basically just so that the kids have a really cool, badass hockey rink with full boards and like they're skating, where the Flyers play. So that's all I want out of it.
Matter of fact, I was going to bring up a picture of the bar right here.
Yeah.
Better shot.
Look at that.
That's phenomenal.
It's not as nice as Rouge, Earl, but it'll do. So.
Actually, I was going to bring up a couple pictures of the rink outside, just so maybe you could some picture here of you with the.
That's what that is, Foods. That's me at my lunch break.
Oh, okay. Ice, putting the water down on the ice.
Yeah. So I'll do it like before I go to work, run home at lunch, right after work. So living in Philly, like you really gotta, whenever you get a chance to make ice. You got to get out there and do it if you want to be successful. So
I'm actually going to show a couple of the other pictures of the, about
that's one of my
shot.
favorites. That's one of my.
Yeah.
Hey, Earl, that's the same spot from where I had your camera guy climb up on the ladder.
Oh, it's okay for the overhead shot, man.
Yeah,
get it by any means.
He was trying to get photos, and I said, I'm gonna show you where you gotta go. You can go if you want. I said, I'll hold the ladder for you. I said, but if you're looking for the
I think he might have threw. Can you hear me, Earl?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I think he might have froze up. Hold on a minute. Let me. Yeah, I think he might have froze.
Dang, man. Dave, we lost you.
Here, let me shoot him a message in the private chat.
Okay.
I know he was freezing up a little bit earlier.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't sure if that was me or what. What was going
on? I think it's on his end because
I'm here.
All right,
there he is.
You froze up for a minute.
Sorry, it's cold here.
Oh, hey, it happens. Hey, it happens. I mean, you always get these glitches. Just
good old Wi-Fi.
Of course.
But take me back, Dave. You were finishing like how you got one of our photographers that climbed that ladder. What? Yeah. How did you get it? How did he get the shot?
So I held the ladder for him, but I was telling him because he was trying to get like all these really cool angles. So I just said, "Come with me. Like I'll show you where you got to go." Because I always had the ladder out there so I could take videos and pictures of the kids because it looks really cool that way. So I said, "Listen, I'll hold the ladder. I won't let you fall." I said, "But that's where you got to get the shot from," and that's the photo that they used in the newspaper.
It is.
Once he took it, he was like, "You were right." I said, "Trust me, I've taken thousands of photos here." That's
now, not to interrupt you. Now let me go back to that picture because now is this the picture where it was photo of the year?
It's a little bit different. The one that they took was at nighttime. That's the one that's on the wall behind me.
Maybe this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of like that. But I think there's like more kids on the ice or something. But it's like that. It's at nighttime.
Right. So just an idea. I mean, I know you got some. I guess this could be your. Was this the rink when it was first built?
Yeah, so I nicknamed that the puddle because it's basically what it was. That was the first rink. And I'll tell you what, man, that was what made me fall in love with it because I mean, that thing is so tiny. I mean, of course my kid was a lot younger than too, so he's smaller, but I mean, he's out there shooting pucks, one of his friends is a goalie, no netting, no boards, but it was just so pure, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To like to see that and that's where I fell in love with the whole outdoor rink stuff.
Right. Let me pull up one more picture here of, compared to the beginning till now. And
so that was,
excuse me.
So that was last year, Fuji.
Okay.
Actually, my buddy Jen Frederick from Fox 29.
All right.
The red hat there. She was awesome, and she followed the my son's Holy Ghost Prep hockey team all the way through the playoffs and Flyers Cup and states. And
Oh wow.
She was awesome. She would like text me, how are they doing, and keep me updated. And she actually went out to their home hockey rink at school one time and did an interview on all the boys out there. So cheers to Jen.
Nice.
Shout out Jen, man. That's awesome.
So you did mention today is the 1 year anniversary that Earl came to the rink. Correct?
Yeah. Well, his photographer, and then who else came, Earl? Do you remember who it was? I was like, it was just so there was like so many kids here and stuff. I'm like, I don't even know who's here right now.
Yeah, I think it was a photographer, maybe a videographer as well.
Yes.
I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, because I think somebody brought like the GoPro and stuff for the helmet. That was a great evening. That was so much fun.
Yeah, no, it looked like it. And it makes sense why that picture it's literally behind you, right? That was captured on the day.
That's it.
Man, that's crazy.
Right.
So
it's that one right there.
Yeah, man.
Earl, my question for you was any behind the scenes moments while writing the article that the listeners would find interesting?
I would say so for me, what I found interesting, I don't know how interesting it will be to the readers, but what I found interesting in just getting to know Dave and some of the other folks is just like the reasons why they started it. Like, I think like in Dave's case, like starting from literally what he would call a puddle and like falling in love with this. It's equivalent to like what is it called? Like when you golf and it's like a little golf green. And to now forming that into like the equivalent of pretty much like what it is today, man. It's just crazy. But I didn't realize how big the hockey culture was here. Like, to be honest, I thought that was a Canadian thing. I didn't think Philly had a place, a real stake in the game. But then learning about the science behind it, when to like build the ice, how do you form the ice, like in such an expansive area, like, you know what I mean? Like all that stuff, even being from Ohio, I'm from the Midwest. Like I didn't grow up with people having ice rinks in their backyard. So like to think of that is like unfathomable that someone would do that. But learning the process and everything that went into it, I was like, wow, like this is crazy. And I think you really get a full grasp of that when you're talking to David or you're reading the article too. Right. So yeah.
Dave, for someone thinking of starting a community project, what advice would you give?
Don't do it. No, I'm just kidding.
Now I got a joint question for you guys.
What? Go ahead.
How do you think community engagement through sports like rinks influences Philly culture?
That's a good question. Just off the back of that, like just off top, I just think sports is unifying, right? Like I just like, for example, someone who indirectly got me into journalism was Stephen A. Smith, who was a general sports columnist here. Like he got me into journalism just because of his own singular passion for sports. Me playing sports in high, up until high school, not college. I was not good enough for any of that. But you just get the sense of like camaraderie that's built around sports. And I think like whether it's a Philly, a Chicago, or a small city like Columbus, Ohio, where I grew up, like sports is reflective of a city's culture in a lot of ways. You get to like locker room memories, talks, things of that nature. Like you still carry those with you until the years after your playing days are long gone, right? You meet so many personalities, people who come from so many backgrounds to come together for one singular goal. Like that's culture, right? And I think when it comes to Philly sports in particular, it's so central to the city's identity. It's hard to separate the two. So to string this all together, I think when it comes to like David's rink or like other people who make up the outdoor rink culture that exists within Philly, like that speaks to the city. That's such a huge part of the city that I, as someone who only moved here 2.5 years ago, never knew about. But now that I know about it, I now understand it. You know what I mean? Right. And I added that to another thing that makes Philly so special. Like that's just another thing for me. So yeah, that's how I would say the two kind of come together. You can't really separate them, especially in a city like Philly.
Dave, as far as you were saying about when before we came on air, you said that after, you and Earl linked up, you said the Philadelphia Flyers will be reaching out to you. Can you touch on that about the rink and the bar, just about when they reached out to you and what they asked, what they said and whatnot?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought that was like crazy to even think. Like, we were just kind of joking around about it, like kind of like, oh, the Flyers are going to be reaching out to you next, and I was like, not going to happen. Like, this is just. And then literally, like, just a couple of days later, they're like, hey, do you mind if I give somebody from the Flyers your number? And I'm like, I'm still thinking to myself, like, sure, like, they're not going to reach out to me, or like, I don't even know what they want me for on my rink. And a few days later, my phone rings, and it's, somebody from the Flyers saying, hey, we love the story that we saw in the paper about your rink. We'd love to come out and learn more about the rink, and why you build the rink, and see all the Flyer stuff, and we'd love to bring you some cool Flyer stuff for the bar. So I was like, hey, if this gives me another platform to get on and spread, something about youth hockey and the Flyers and building outdoor rinks in Philly, like, I'm all for it. And then unfortunately, their coach got fired and things were in turmoil. So they never got a chance to come out, but they were kind enough to have me and my family come down to a game, which was also like overwhelming, because like in the middle of like the second and third period, here comes this girl that I had been talking to for like 3 weeks on the phone with like 2 huge bags of Flyers.
Ooh. Guess he.
As soon as he gets on, I'm at 2 big bags. It's suspense.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
man.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, and I like StreamYard though. Like, StreamYard is usually pretty smooth, but it has its issues here and there.
Oh, right. I just think any podcast with the glitch and.
Yeah.
Maybe. See if he maybe logged in and logged out. Yeah, but like you were, I don't want to start saying something and then there he goes.
I'm here.
Yeah, you started off with the 2 big things the Flyers brought you. That's where you cut out at.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, so they brought me just 2 huge bags of different stuff, everything from hats to signed pucks, sticks. I had so much stuff, I was literally giving it out to the neighbors, because like, what am I going to do with 20 different hats? But I was really, really grateful that they did that. And it was funny because, Earl, when I tell you that I invite everybody to the rink, there was like a group of young hockey players with their parents behind me. And I said, listen, if you're wondering like why they're giving me all this stuff, it's because I have this rink and they wanted to thank me for building the rink. And all the kids were like, oh my God, look at that rink. So I tell the mom, like, listen, take my number down now. When it gets cold, text me and all you guys can come to the rink. And she was like, yeah, everybody. I said, no, ask my wife. My wife will tell you. You guys are all invited to the rink. They didn't text me, so I can't invite them. But that was my story of the Flyers thing. And but I meant it. Like, when I told those little kids, like, hey, if your parents text me, you guys can all come and skate. But yeah, that was really cool to go there and have them kind of show me that they appreciated, me representing the Flyers and trying to grow the hockey game and that kind of stuff. So that was really, really cool.
Absolutely.
Just to get back to the question I was asking about about influence in Philly culture, I want to go back maybe you could touch on this, Dave, maybe 25 years ago. I know the Flyers built a lot of rinks. I think Ed Snyder had a lot to do with it, like bringing hockey to the inner cities and just like donating equipment and, ice time for the children. Can you touch on that a little bit? I don't know if you recall that.
I do. I think the Flyers definitely miss Ed Snyder.
Right.
He was one of a kind. I think he really got Philadelphia and how we feel about the Flyers. And me personally, I really miss that. And as far as like him redoing the rinks. I actually used to take my son to one of those rinks before it was redone, and they did a really good job. It was nice to see, because I mean, let's face it, the city only spends money on what they want to spend money on, and they're not going to dump millions of dollars into a hockey rink, in North Philly or even in Northeast Philadelphia. Like, they have other things that they're worried about spending their money on. So I thought that was really, really cool that he did that. And even though with his passing, that stuff still lives on, because, they're allowing kids that, maybe never would have put on a pair of skates to play the game that I love so much, and, in all different communities through Philadelphia. So I think that's awesome. And, hopefully one day Philly will have another Ed Snyder that, loves the Flyers the way that we do. So,
well, if you go back, I mean, they put skate zones, a couple in the city. I know they have them like, Voorhees, where the Flyers practice, and, just to, like we were talking about, just kids, getting equipment that's donated and being able to play ice hockey. It's just like the Flyers have, put a lot of money out there throughout the years. As far as, like I was saying about Ed Snyder and the Flyers today, just giving back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think a lot of hockey players are just different. So I'm sure.
I think he froze up.
Yeah.
It's actually gonna. Let's see. There he is, I think. Looked like he started to come back on. Earl, I was going to ask you, I was going to say, how do stories like this one impact the larger Philadelphia community?
Man, I just feel like it makes well, number one, I would say, like, Philly is so prideful, right? Like, that's what I noticed from moving here, and because I worked in newsrooms across the country, right? I've covered communities around the country, around the world even. And I would say Philly is unique in the sense that Philadelphians truly, their universe centers around Philadelphia. You know what I'm saying? So, like, with stories like the one where Dave is at the center, right? And it's about outdoor rinks and everything that's blossoming or sprouting or have even existed for 11 years in Philly. I think people are just, it gives them affirmation in how they feel about Philadelphia, as they should, because this is a city you should be proud of. So that's why I love doing stories like those. 100%. Yeah.
I mean, just texting Dave to log in and out.
Yeah.
To jump back on. Now, have you done any other like similar stories like this since you've been in the Philly area?
I haven't done any outdoor rink specific or any hockey related stories beyond this one. But I've been lucky enough to work with folks that have covered like hockey, obviously, like working alongside some talented folks who cover Jerome Boots Ennis, who I'm a huge fan of, right? Yeah, so but that is really 101. But I think like everything that David's saying about the culture surrounding outdoor hockey and outdoor or at home rinks is what drew me to the story, and also like why I think it got so much attention online, for that reason.
Yeah, let me just see if I could call Dave real quick.
Okay.
Not to give me 1 second. I just texted him, but seems like it's gone to voicemail.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
All right.
wait.
Well,
Oh, wait. Here he is. Hold on. There you are.
there we go.
Hey, welcome back.
I grabbed my phone instead.
That's okay. No,
See,
whatever works.
listen, that's what happens when you try and get fancy and you want to be on your laptop and you know, like,
Oh,
just stick to simple.
try it.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
I mean, Earl, you know from StreamYard the way this stuff goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, my next question is, we were just, I was asking Earl if he dealt, if he had any other stories like this ever, as far as sports related in Philly. Well, you were, can you go back to repeat what you were saying, Earl?
Yeah, no, I think this story was 101, right? Like I haven't done an outdoor rink or outdoor hockey story before. Actually, I've never done a hockey story before. So, but because of like the interest that and the eyeballs, the folks that David and others were able to like kind of attract with everything that they had going on. I'll be honest too. Like I hope this isn't a surprise to anybody. David has the best outdoor rink I've personally ever seen. So I think with the community and everyone, yeah, well, through photos, right? Like I would say it's the best. So it's like, like it's easy. Like a story like that is what drew me in, and it's also easy to tell for those reasons because there's so much that's gone into it and goes into it, and plus it's now a staple in the community because it's been around for 11 years. So yeah, I've only done one, but if I'm going to do any one of any story, this would kind of be the story that I'm most excited about,
Right. Dave, have you had any Flyers players come up to the rink or the bar?
No, so I will tell you a funny story. With my wife working at Rouge, because it's so fancy, and actually, I wouldn't say because it's so fancy. It's so small, and like I don't know, just everybody knows about it. And I think like if celebrities go there, they don't get bothered. So Katie did meet Ed Snyder before he passed away, and
Nice.
he had signed a napkin. He had signed a napkin autograph for my son. And then my wife actually became really good friends with Claude Giroux's dad. It's funny, the one day he came into the bar and he had his phone sitting down, like any other iPhone. Like they have that circle there where you can put a logo or something in there. My wife always uses hockey as a way to talk to people about stuff at the bar. It's her conversation starter. So she looks down and she sees this guy's phone and he has the Flyers logo. So she kind of like gives him a thumbs up, like, hey, I'm a Flyers fan too. They just start talking about, hockey, and her son plays, and he's like, my son plays hockey. And she's telling him, who our son plays for. And she's like, oh, well, who does your son play for? And he's like, oh, my son plays for the Flyers. So my wife's like, wait, your son plays for the Flyers? He's like, yeah. He's like, my son is Claude Giroux. So, of course, my wife's like, get the hell out of here. And he's like, no, really. Like, he pulls out his phone and he's like, showing Katie pictures of, him and his son at Christmas. And she's like, no friggin' way. So my wife is probably one of the nicest people you ever met in your life. So every time he would come back in town, he would always come in and hang out with us. Because, I mean, here's a guy who's, coming in town to see his son play hockey. He doesn't know anybody. The guy lives in Canada. So he would always just come in and see Katie every single time he came in. And the one time he was down there, I came down and was sitting at the bar with him for a couple hours. And it was the greatest 2 hours of just talking hockey with like another. He was just a normal hockey dad. Like we had the same stories and, different. And it was really, really cool to be able to do that.
Dave, if you could build a rink anywhere in the city of Philly overnight, where would it be and why?
Where would I build it at?
Yeah.
Anywhere? I would say if I could build a rink anywhere in the city, where would it be? It would just be somewhere with more land. So I could could build. I wouldn't care where it was because I'd invite anybody to come skate no matter where they live. Just to be able to have a bigger rink and be able to have more kids on the ice. One year, my kids wanted me to ask the neighbor if we could knock the fence down and turn the sideways and go that way. I'm like,
you?
I'm like, we have pretty cool neighbors, but I don't think they're gonna let me like not. And
Right,
turn
right.
our-
Has
Wow.
anybody ever actually asked you to like maybe have a league, like for fun, or just
a lot of the
with the little kids?
a lot of the men's league thing that they always want to come over and stuff. And again, too, it's like, people always say they're going to come over and, they just don't show up. I think because they think that I'm not genuinely inviting them over to come skate. And, even if I'm not here, like I've been on vacation up to Poconos and kids have come over with their parents and skated. And it was like some of the best I've had because I knew the ice wasn't just sitting there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Parents are sending me pictures of their kids skating outside, and it eases my stress of thinking like I'm up to Poconos and we only get so many days of ice and the ice is just sitting there. So it's the more people that skate, the better.
Now I got a question about the bar. Now,
Yeah.
can you touch on before we logged on, you're telling me about some of the drinks that you do serve when you do have company.
Yeah.
I don't know
So
if
you want to know what we serve at the penalty box?
Well, I was going to ask you this question along with that. I was going to ask if you had to make a Flyers themed snack for the skaters at the rink, what would it be?
Wings.
Along with the beer.
Yeah, well, it would definitely be wings because wings are my favorite food. So definitely be wings. And as far as the beer goes, I'll be honest, I'm not a big beer drinker. I like either like a mixed drink or
twisted tea, right?
Or any kind of cider. I actually have cider tap. I'll tell you a funny story because I have a Labatt's thing for the tap, and my daughter says to me, "Well, why don't you have Labatt's in there?" And I said, "Juliet, it's my bar. I don't drink Labatt's. I'll put the Labatt's thing on there because it looks cool being a hockey bar, but I'm going to have cider in the tap because that's what your dad drinks, and at the end of the day, it's still my bar."
Earl, I got one more question for you.
Yeah.
How do you decide which community stories are worth featuring in the paper?
It's a mixture of a couple of things. Nuance being one of them. Like, is it new? Is it something that would be new or special to a lot of people in the greater region? I'm also looking for like, is there already like a group of people that are already drawn to it? So I'm looking for like engagement. I want to see how many people. Is it a big conversation in a small subreddit or like a Facebook group, or like what's the interest level? And how relevant is it? Like, is it built around something like a national trend that's happening in other cities across the country, the world even? And also, is it genuine? Like, right? Like when I interview David, I knew like his passion for hockey, the work that he put into the outdoor rink. No, this is genuine. You know what I mean? And I wanted to talk to David too about like his passion for and encouragement of women's like hockey in particular, which is a sport I feel like doesn't get enough shine. And he illuminated that same thing to me. So like him doing the things that he's done, and that's the kind of stuff that I look for with other stories, especially with certain communities, certain neighborhoods and whatnot at the center of it, So yeah.
Right.
Hey,
David, go ahead. Didn't mean to call you off.
That's definitely at the forefront of everything right now for me as far as so a quick story. My daughter basically grew up at a hockey rink since she was born because both her brothers played. Would dabble here and there, like going to maybe playing pickup hockey, something. Never really like wanted to play, and I always found that kind of odd. Like your world's great. You get angry at me if I leave at 5:00 in the morning to a hockey game. Why would she never want to play? And then until last year when she started her new high school, they had an all-girls hockey team. And literally from like the first week, she was a different person. She loved it. She loved being around all the girls, and everybody was kind of like the same. Realize two things. Girls hockey, the passion that they have for that is so cool. It's like off the not that boys hockey is bad. Like
just seeing my daughter playing and can't wait to get to practice and wanting to go to clinics together with each other and can't wait to get to the game and not one really cool. So I've been trying to focus my efforts on, trying to spread the word of like, hey, more girls play if they had an environment, more built to what they're looking for. Because once my daughter found that, had she found that 10 years ago, she'd have been playing for 10 years. But I didn't know.
Mhm.
I didn't know how to be comfortable at hockey until she found a group of all girls play hockey instead of going to things where it was mixed and you got boys flying around since they've been skating since they were 4 years old. That's intimidating. I mean, it's like you already feel like you're playing a man's sport. Now you got these boys out there flying around that are intimidating you. Of course, you didn't want to go back,
Mhm.
and then she that environment that fostered what she was looking for. So that girl, that relaxed, she could just go out and have fun, and that takes it really really seriously. So it wasn't that she didn't want to have that competitiveness of boys hockey. She just wanted to get involved in a different way. So I really hope that moving forward, I can help share that with dads. You know what I mean? Like, hey, let's
Yeah.
find we can because it's gonna grow their love of the game way faster. Hope that you
Well,
really start focusing on the girls because
mhm.
it's an absolute program that the girls are running. My daughter plays. Uh, More thankful that it was down that league, that team left for her.
Well, when you touch on women's sports has come so far advanced today. Like you see the ladies playing ice hockey. They're playing football, playing flag football, playing
Mhm.
baseball. WNBA, and it's you got some women that can really ball out and are phenomenal athletes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, there's some really good players in my daughter, uh, and I think from my opinion, they just found that they found that way into hockey earlier than she did.
Right.
So like I really that's kind of why I wanted to meet Flyers because they're such a large platform that I hope I can spread what I learned my daughter to them so that they can share it with more people so that we can really help the girls program absolutely explode the way it does in.
Well, right. I mean, just as you guys were touching on with ladies sports is just it's grown leaps and bounds over the years and still is.
Has a long way
They,
to go.
oh yeah, right. Earl, did you want to touch on? I had one more question for Dave, but I wanted to ask you if you had if you wanted to add anything before we get out of here.
Nah, man. I'll say this, Mike, man. Appreciate you for having me on. This
Oh,
was a great
anytime.
conversation. Yeah, I just love talking about Philly stories such as this, man. So appreciate you for even the invite and
Well,
yeah.
just talk about meeting small world like as we were touching on. Not that the audience knows this, but ended up buying the way Earl and I met was he was selling a Saquon Barkley jersey on a marketplace on Facebook, and we met up face to face last summer, and he was telling me he's a writer for the Inquirer, and he mentioned Dave's name about the outdoor rink and the penalty box bar, and I was like, yeah, I know Dave, and I said, I do a podcast, and I've been talking to you guys about collaborating here, and here we are. 1 year anniversary is, as you were saying, how coincidental it is, Dave. 1 year to
Crazy.
the day.
Crazy. Yeah.
Talk about fate. And I just have one more question for you, Dave. What's next for the outdoor rink and the penalty box bar?
I just hope I can continue to get kids or more parents people that want to, see what it's like having a rink. Maybe even some kids that want to start learning how to play hockey or learn how. It doesn't have to be all about just hockey. Maybe they just want to do something outside instead of sitting on their phones or social media. As far as the bar, I've been using the penalty box to kind of help grow the Facebook page that I have, the Drunk Flyers fan page. And touching on Earl's thing with the passion of the city and not knowing that people like the Flyers, it's pretty cool, Earl, because I jumped on board with the admins over at the Drunk Flyers fan page in the beginning of the year, and I think we had about 3,000 people, and now we're like right on the edge of 10,000. So it's like I'm telling you, like there's so many people that enjoy hockey, the Flyers, that people just don't know, and that's a testament. Page go from 3,000 to 10,000 in like season is, and I know it's going to continue to grow from there because we're trying to put out a positive vibe to everybody. It's like just people sitting in the bar with your friends talking about the hockey game during the game and allow everybody opinions and just have a good time and share pictures with their pets, what they're drinking, what are you eating during the game, where are you going, your family. So it's just been, when they asked me to jump on, answer that, like, you want me to go on and share my passion, hockey and the Flyers, and get another platform to share my outdoor rink and help grow the the female hockey game. Absolutely, I'm today. So,
well, gentlemen, I want to thank you both for taking your time out. Dave, for coming on and sharing this out with my show and everybody watching. Earl, I want to thank you for coming on and just collaborate with you guys, and want to ask Dave, where can you be reached at as far as the Drunk Flyers fans?
Right on Facebook page, Drunk Flyers fans. You can find us on there, and then once you like the page, you'll be able to access everywhere else I am, like on the penalty box, and I'll always be posting stuff about the rink. So if anybody has any questions about hockey, outdoor hockey rinks, maybe you're intrigued and you want to find out, where to help your daughter play hockey, I'd be more than happy to help. That's why I do it. So,
and if anybody would like to get any more information about Dave and the rink, you could always reach out to me, Mike Fuji, Furtamondo. And Earl, I want to ask where you can be plugged at and reached.
Man, everywhere. Instagram is at Earl Hopkins _. TikTok, YouTube is Earl Hopkins Media. So yeah, man, I'm on every platform, and feel free if you want to see like more of my work, photography, writing, video, everything else, go to earlhopkins.com. Also have a book coming out May 14th, Raps of Resistance, which is about J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar and their impact within hip-hop culture and beyond. So yeah, man. Yeah, tap in with me.
I'm gonna get a copy of that, Earl.
Yeah, man, we gotta get y'all to a signed copy, man, at the very
least.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
yes, sir.
Now that I'm not on my laptop, I'm out back with the
Look
rink.
at that. Look at that view.
I gotta show you guys my security guard before I go. So got that's my security guy.
Oh
man.
Hey, nobody gets past Gritty.
Right. Yeah.
Good shot of the ring.
That's all. That's awesome.
But thank you guys for having me, and I really hope that some good comes out of this, and we can continue to keep doing what we're doing, And Earl, I appreciate you so much by writing that story, and hopefully we can do something on the girls, because I would really love to see. I mean, so much good came out of that last article, and I can't imagine how much would come out of another one with really focusing on the girls stuff. So,
absolutely.
Hey, if you guys want to promote whatever, I'm here. Be happy to plug it out for you guys, share it out, have you guys back on the show. Dave, sometime, whenever, I'm sure Earl would come up. I'd like to come up, and you're not that far from me, so
We got.
I'm not letting you come unless Earl comes.
All right.
Let's make
2
it
for 1
happen.
deal.
All right. Well, I want to thank you guys for coming on tonight. I deeply appreciate you again taking your time out. Dave and Earl. Want
3 minutes to puck. Flyers are on at 8 o'clock. Go watch the Flyers.
Yes, sir. Let's go Flyers.
Let's go.
Want to thank everybody tuning in tonight for another episode of Fuji's Philly Flair. Be safe. Be thankful. Want to reach out to somebody out there that you never know, mental health awareness. You never know what somebody's going through. Everybody be safe. Stock up at the supermarket because hopefully we won't get that snow. I know Dave wants it, but I'm over it.
I don't want Fuji. Who do you think shovels the snow? I don't want the snow.
I got it.
No snow, only cold.
Exactly. All right, everybody have a good night. God bless and have a good weekend.
See you guys.
Philly streets got a story to
Have a great night.
Golden sun breaks the Liberty Bell. From the Trattoria to the stoop outside, feel good vibes in the city's pride.
Fuji's Philly Flair, oh, it's everywhere. Good news flying like hands in the air. Hip hop grooves with a twist so rare. Fuji's Philly Flair, we're